The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hi everyone. Today on Aging Horizons we're going to be talking about dragon boating and dragon boating racing, or dragon boat racing I guess it is. Really fun activity that I've just learned about myself, and we have a couple of folks that have been very involved in starting some groups in Montana and doing some races. It's going to be a really fun show with lots of fun stuff, so stay tuned.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
If the Aging Network in Montana was a restaurant, the sign out front would say, over 50 million meals served over the last 30 years. Since adequate nutrition is critical to health and quality of life, nutrition services are an important factor in keeping older Montanans healthy, independent, and living in their community and home. To find out more about senior nutrition programs in your area, call 1-800-551-3191.
Final call from Flight 566.
Hello, gentlemen. May I see your Montana Real IDs?
IDs? Why, I'm Captain Meriwether Lewis.
And I'm Captain William Clark.
Hang on, I see more than one William Clark.
It's the real me, I promise.
Discover more at mtrealid.gov. Available now.
Montana Real ID. It's the real me.
And me.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Kimi Everman, and today I think we have a pretty fun show. We're going to be talking about dragon boating and dragon boat racing, something that I didn't know existed, and when I started to research it and talk to people who had seen some of these great boats, I got really excited and knew it was a perfect show topic. So we have with us Nancy Gillespie. Hi, Nancy. Glad
Hello.
to have you.
Yeah,
and we
glad to be here.
have Joanne Toon. Joanne, very nice to have you here. Thanks.
Thanks for inviting us.
So tell us, just so we can have a little baseline, what is dragon boating and how did it get started?
Well, dragon boating is an ancient sport. It started in China on the Yangtze River.
Okay.
And it went out of fashion during China's Cultural Revolution in the 20th century. Dragon boating served as a community event. The well-being of the people is the primary mission.
Right. And when I was amazed, 2,300 years ago is when this started.
Yes.
And I just couldn't believe my eyes. And yet here we are in almost 2020, and it's still a great sport.
And it's a thriving sport.
It is.
Yes.
Now, I know that you're from the team here in Helena, but we have teams all over the state, don't we?
We do.
And so we're going to go into how to find out all about that, but this is not just here, it's anywhere in the state, and you have something coming up too, a big festival.
Yes.
Right? When's that?
That is September 6th, 7th, and 8th.
And it's in
Big
Kalispell.
Fork.
Big Fork this year. Okay. All right, so Nancy, let's
Yes.
go to you. How big is a dragon boat? Because it's pretty huge.
Okay, dragon boats, they are 39 feet long and 3 feet 10 inches wide.
Okay.
It weighs about 550 pounds.
Okay.
And during competitions, we put a dragon head on the front, and then it becomes 42 feet long.
So how many people are in there? Because I read there was a kind of a range, but it seems like a pretty tight range.
Well, usually there are 22 people. That's 20 paddlers, plus a drummer at the bow, and a steer person in the back.
Okay.
Paddlers do not switch sides like they do in kayaking. They stay, in their seat.
Sure. And they're on one side, and then they have a person next to them?
Yes, doing the
other
other
side. Got it.
Yeah. And everyone leans out.
Okay.
For balance.
Okay, for balance.
Because we have seen one person lean in and the whole thing go over, but we'll talk about that later.
I saw that tipping over one.
Doesn't happen.
But so it's 22 people,
20 people plus
the two.
Yes.
Okay. And then the drummer is, what's that drummer doing?
Well, he's sitting in the front and he's setting the tempo with the drum.
Okay.
And sometimes it's a relaxed tempo and sometimes it's a faster tempo.
Okay.
And the people in the front row, of which she is, because she's petite and fits in this tiny bow, they set the pace and the tempo for the whole boat.
Okay, I see.
And they work very closely with the drummer. There are times when you want an extra push of power, so he gives us a code, and then we go faster and stronger.
Okay, one other thing that I read that sort of made me sad. You can't talk when you're in the boat, can you? Only the people that are at the either end are talking. Everybody else is supposed to be quiet.
Well, the whole thing is, if you ever read the story of the 1943 American Olympics, they had obstacles. You have to keep your focus in the boat. If you have a cramp, you ignore the cramp. You just concentrate on the drumming and the rowing, and you power through it. It's a very interesting sport, fun, but you don't think about anything else but what you're doing.
You're just laser focused, which makes all the sense in the world. Now, Joanne, where are some of the races that are held? Where do you race?
Well, we race in Flathead.
Okay.
At the festival in September.
Okay.
But we also, there's races all over the United States and all over the world.
Okay, so lots of other people are doing this.
Yes.
Right?
It's a very popular sport now.
Okay.
It's the most popular sport. It's growing every year.
Yeah.
It's the most popular team sport.
Well, and I think one of the things that y'all said to me was it's the ultimate team sport.
It is.
Right? Because you're so focused on working together.
Yes.
To get that job done, right?
And we're in total harmony, in sync, we call it.
Yeah.
Like any sport, you have to work for the good of the whole.
Right. And, I don't know which of you gave me this quote, but you did a great Zen quote. Let's talk about it because we'll have to say it again about obstacles.
Okay, well, we started 6 years ago. We had no boat. There were a handful of people that came together. And we showed up at Kalispell with no experience, no equipment,
no idea,
no identity. At least we have a B identity now.
Yes.
And we just loved it so much, and year by year we got better.
Good.
Faster.
Yeah.
Stronger.
Good.
And we. There was a man in Bozeman, Terry Johnson, who helped us by lending, a lot of information and his practice boat to us.
Wow.
And that's what we've been practicing.
So you've just been trudging through.
Yes.
Folks, we have a lot more to tell you. Stay with us.
Every 65 seconds, someone is affected with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Many become isolated at a time when help is most needed. If you or someone you love is affected, help is available, both for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Memory loss can feel frightening, but you are not alone. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
You mean I can get help paying my prescription drug premiums?
Let me get this straight. I could be eligible for help with my family's prescription premiums even though I own my own home?
And our assets won't be counted.
If you're a Montana resident enrolled in the Medicare prescription drug program, you could be eligible for help paying your premiums. Call or visit the Big Sky RX website today to find out, even if you think you're over income.
What do you know about that? I'm eligible.
I was outside working on some equipment, nothing too strenuous. I started sweating and feeling out of breath.
When he felt pressure in his chest and aching in his arms, I knew we had to call 911.
First responders were there before we knew it. 38 minutes later, the doctors had restored the blood flow to my heart.
Now we know dialing 911 saved his life.
Your life is on the line.
This message sponsored by Mission Lifeline Montana.
When I found out it was diabetes, my first thought was, Barb, you need help. You have to take control of this. There is help. My doctor gave me a phone number. I called and signed up with a diabetes educator. There is help. I have to put blinders on when I walk past the bakery counter. I can feel my blood sugar go up. You succeed a little at a time. If you have diabetes, help is available. You do not have to do it alone.
Ask your doctor about diabetes education or visit montana211.org.
Hi folks, welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're here talking about dragon boat racing today. Joanne, let's start with you. There's a festival coming up that we've talked about. Talk about the races at something like that.
Okay, they're very competitive and exciting. And it's common to have 50 to 80 teams participate in the festival. These teams are divided into divisions. So there's the women's team, there's the mixed or co-ed team, and with 10 women and 10 men.
Okay.
Mostly.
Okay.
And then there's the open, super highly competitive team that participates in that. And they're very experienced. And one of our teams in our state, Bozeman, has won national awards.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it sounds like you have, like what I read was that you do a couple of qualifying races each day or throughout the festival?
Yes. So we start on Friday is the day that we can practice.
Okay.
So we can practice in a real dragon boat.
Okay.
So teams that don't have a boat to practice in will start on Friday.
Okay.
And they can just practice, and there's coaches available, and they'll tell them exactly what to do and how to do it.
So they don't have to be scared.
They don't have to be nervous. Everybody takes care of them and teaches them the right way to move the boat.
I just have, my eyes have been opened learning about this because it's, at first I thought, how could you do this if you were maybe older or maybe a person with a disability? But you can. There's lots of places where you can fit in.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you can be disabled, you can be, well, in fact, there was a team years ago when we started that were you had to be 80 years old to be on the boat.
Yay!
So it was the octogenarians.
There you go. That's perfect. Okay, so Nancy,
very fun.
How does a person get started doing this?
Well, first you just have to show up, have an interest.
Okay.
So people can find, like she found out about dragon boat racing by an ad. And we have a website,
right?
And we have we have a Facebook account.
Okay.
We practice out at Lakeside twice a week. So just show up and view it, there's always a seat for someone to come and try it out. We have extra paddles. This is our dragon boat paddle. It is not a canoe paddle. It's a special size.
Oh, wow.
It's a special width. And so you don't, and it doesn't have as long of a neck, because when you paddle, it's in a V.
Okay.
It's a special, the way you hold your arms and the way you paddle. And you go in and come out at, but we would teach everyone this technique.
Right, exactly.
And then if you like it, we have extra life jackets, we have extra paddles, we'll always have an extra seat, and let someone try.
Right.
And then as time goes on, if they love it, they join the club. If they're in a town that has nothing, like we did 6 years ago, you know, generations of things happen small and then they build. They might start their own team, or just show up at the festival with no experience and get your first experience like we did 6 years ago.
Right, and just enjoy it and think, I'm just going to try that.
That's right.
I think that's the wonderful idea. But what do people do in the off season?
Well,
we ski,
Oh,
we hike, we bike,
we camp,
we go caving. I mean, a lot of us are very versatile.
And I think one of the things that I've learned, I think anyway, from researching some of this is that if maybe you're like me in your 50s or early 60s, start now and you're going to be okay by the time you're 80 to still be doing that.
Absolutely.
Or even if you're 80, if you feel up to it, I know what I read was do what you think you're able to do. And if you know, that's good enough.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a very inclusive sort of special part of what this is.
And why I love it so much is because people help each other. And at the festival, there's people that need extra paddlers, and we're happy to give them our extra paddlers.
So real
if we have
community
any.
building.
It's really community building.
Yeah.
I love that part of it.
Yeah, and you get to meet people from not only around the state, but as you said, around the world, because it's like 60 countries where they do this.
Yes.
This racing.
And the people that start or have the boats and put it on are from Canada.
Oh, really?
Edmonton, Canada.
Really?
Edmonton and Lethbridge.
And how many years have we had this kind of festival here in Montana?
10 years.
10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So is this the 10-year anniversary coming up, or has it already been?
I think
We
so.
should celebrate.
So, yeah, girls, of course you should. I get a T-shirt because I gave you the idea.
Well, Kimmy, we'll just get you one.
We'll get you one.
And we'll invite you to come paddle with us. Would you like to come?
You know what? I just might. That sounds like an awfully fun idea. Okay. Now, I think we have a whole lot more to talk about because there's some getting wet stuff in this that we got to make sure people know about. We'll talk about that when we come back. Folks, I hope you're having as much fun as we are here in the studio today. This is a really fun activity that it doesn't matter how much you can do. If you want to just try a little, you're welcome. So stay with us. We have a whole nother segment to go.
Providing long-term care for someone in need is a labor of love, but it is a labor. Time apart is healthy and necessary both for the caregiver and the person receiving care. It allows each a respite, time to relax and recharge. If you're a long-term caregiver, visit the new Lifespan Respite website. Financial assistance may be available. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
I've been shooting since I was young. It's something I've always enjoyed. I wasn't feeling like myself, but my friend noticed. He asked if he could hold onto my guns temporarily. At first, I was a little shocked, but then I agreed. I think he saved my life that day.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare summary notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
I'm Attorney General Tim Fox. Nowadays, all of you have to worry about cybersecurity. Something as simple as visiting pirate websites can put your computer at risk. Hackers use pirate websites to infect your computer and steal your ID and financial information, or even take over your computer camera without you knowing it. Don't let hackers into your house. Be careful with the websites you visit and warn your kids on how to stay safe online. To learn more, visit my website.
Hi folks, welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're talking about dragon boat racing today with Joanne and Nancy. So great to have you both here. Joanne, let's start with you. Hang on a second, gotta put my glasses back on. Race day comes along, and what do you need to do to plan for that? Because you're not going to show up in snowsuit, obviously.
No, but you want to be warm enough because race day is the second weekend of September. So it gets a little cooler.
Sure, yeah.
Especially early in the morning, and sometimes these heats will start at 7:30. So you have to be prepared. So I always wear layers.
Okay.
And then our t-shirts.
Right.
Our antenna, because we're bees. And we wear tutus, and we also wear tights that can get wet and dry really quick.
Great, because that's the point. One of the things I wanted to bring up was you're going to get wet.
Absolutely.
There's just no way around it. You're going to get wet, so plan for it.
Yeah, and
right?
You always wear your life jacket. It is really important, and we emphasize that.
Right, because I think one thing we need to remember is that we've laughed and had a good time today, but safety is really, really important. And especially if you're a person who hasn't done it as long as maybe you two have, you want to make sure you're safe. So you're learning good habits and keeping yourself above water, if you will.
Yes. It is important.
Nancy, what about some of those safety issues? We were kind of giggling about the boat tipping over because of just the way they're built, but that does happen sometimes, and you have to be very careful about that. You said that the race organizers are always looking at that sort of thing.
Right, and the organizers make sure that they have, accredited life jackets for people to wear, regulation paddles, the boats are all the same, but they also are keeping everyone safe by having, boats out there in case of a turnover.
Sure.
One time, like 4 years ago, they're always watching barometric pressure and weather.
Wind.
And
wind, yeah.
It was predicted that the waves would be 5 or 6 feet high by 2 o'clock. So they started all the races really early.
Okay.
And it was very cold that morning, but we got all the races done by like 10 o'clock. And should someone, we have not gone over yet, but should a boat go over, they have craft out there that get to that boat and those people within seconds.
Oh, good.
And they get everyone to shore, they tow the boat in, and so it's a very, very safe and very guarded sport.
Well, and I think I want to point out that just because you're a senior doesn't make you any more prone to drowning as a 16-year-old or a 25-year-old.
Right.
You're all at that risk.
Right.
And so the safety measures that you're talking about are so very important.
Exactly.
And being able to get to people quickly. Now, I did want to ask you about something that I found in researching your notes that sounded so great to me. I heard there's teams made up of breast cancer survivors. And also disabled paddlers, or paddlers with disabilities. What's that look like?
Well, it is wonderful to see all these women dressed in pink. And they have a ceremony, and they talk about some of the women that have passed on because of breast cancer, and some of the people that have beat breast cancer, and it's very inspirational and emotional. But they always do a ceremony, and the ceremony involves putting a rose in the lake at the end of the ceremony. And it's absolutely beautiful because it honors the people that have passed from that disease.
And also I read in your notes that these breast cancer survivors actually, in checking with some research, found out that might even be very helpful for them in keeping the lymphoedema away, doing the paddling.
And this is a man, this was a doctor in British Columbia that did the research on this. And years ago, people were told that exercise would increase the problem of lymphedema.
Right.
But he found out that not only did it give the body the exercise that didn't have the fluid under the muscles pool, but it also made a community of like people together. And I think that bond makes friendships forever.
What Joanne just talked about with the rose ceremony and all those people in pink coming together, nothing better than finding ways to bring the community together.
And didn't Missoula just buy 2 boats just for breast cancer?
Just for breast cancer.
Yay. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, I have 2 teams.
This has just been the funnest show for me, and I just wonder, is there anything that you wanted to say before we sign off today, Nancy?
Well, we've had a lot of obstacles, haven't we? And life is obstacles.
Yes.
You know, we've heard the term, it's not the end result, it's the journey that matters.
Right.
Well, for us, it's been many obstacles, and you have to face them head on, and so the obstacles become the journey.
Yeah.
But, you know, our boat is going to be bright yellow with black, and we're going to have kind of a press release. Can I invite you to that?
Sure.
Okay. But we would, you know, I did professional racing in New England, but this is the most fun, exciting, worthwhile, friendship building community.
And it's for everyone.
And
Folks,
it's for everyone.
This is not just for youngs. This is for young at hearts. So
There
check
we go.
it out, and we'll see you next time on Aging Horizons.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.